Hello one and all, I hope each and every one of you is having a great day. And if you're not, I'm hoping that watching this video will give you a little dopamine injection to boost your mood. I'm your host, Doodleman149, and today I'll be discussing my current view on the state of Warzone as of April 4th, 2021, as well as identifying any problems and how these could be fixed to save the game. In general, my opinion of Warzone has soured greatly from Season 6 of Good Warzone up until Season 2 of Bad Warzone. I used to not be that into Warzone until my friends and I started playing it more often and progressively got better at a number of Warzone elements such as when and where to pick fights and how to effectively rotate into the zone. After the introduction of Cold War integration, however, the game mode has suffered greatly. Some of the problems have been long-standing, but my biggest points are actually problems that only arose when the Cold War integration. So without clogging up more of your time, let me just hop right into the problems Warzone is currently facing. First and foremost, I'm going to address an older problem, and that problem is hackers and cheaters. For the longest time, even through most of Season 1 of Bad Warzone, I had run into precious few cheaters. Unfortunately, it seems that after I made a comment on a Driftdoor video saying that I hadn't seen too many cheaters, now I seem to run into at least one every day that I play. For a garbage game, at least Fortnite has a robust no-nonsense system in place to remove cheaters and keep everyone honest. I don't see why Crackdivision cannot implement a similar system. My only guess is that their view of Call of Duty as a yearly title means they don't plan on Warzone being around very long. So why would they want to invest money and resources into a fix for what is arguably their most popular game? Beats me. It's not a matter of can they fix the cheating problem, but whether or not they even care enough about the fan base to do anything about it. Another sad fact regarding cheaters is that I don't find any when I play 6v6 multiplayer, and would you like to know why, dear viewer? It's because I turn off crossplay. Hacking comes predominantly from the PC side of gaming, and forcing honest console players to have to intermingle with these vermin isn't particularly player-friendly. But I digress. On to the next issue, Warzone's time to kill values. I was just talking to Freaky Haircut and Fun White Kid the other day about this. When Warzone was new, heck, even when Warzone was in Season 6, gunfights could take a good long while to end. People exchanged blows, backed off, replated, and then re-engaged the enemy. Fights usually came down to who had better positioning, better aim, and better teamwork. Of course, you could also tilt the scales in your favor by getting a quick down with a sniper rifle or by spamming rockets at the enemy. But for the most part, it came down to gun skill and reaction time. The problem in this department that Warzone currently faces is that all the Cold War meta weapons, the FFAR, the AUG, the M16, the MAC-10, all of their time to kill and damage per second values are far superior to any of the weapons offered by Modern Warfare. No longer are gunfights drawn-out engagements that require you to use your head. Now it's basically if the enemy sees you first, you are down before you can even react. Sometimes it almost feels instantaneous, but that's probably because when you factor stopping power into all these weapons as well, your armor is basically not even there. The Cold War meta weapons are just too powerful for a mode of this style. It also doesn't help that all the Cold War guns are tweaked in a way that makes them perform much better in Warzone than they do in Cold War. That's just something I don't think I'll ever get over. And for the last big issue I see with Warzone is map fatigue. I've previously mentioned why the introduction of the Rebirth map is nothing new or innovative. In fact, there's a card in the top right corner of your screen that'll take you to my video discussing that, but anyway. I'm not saying I need a new Warzone map. I enjoy Verdansk. I enjoy knowing where I can rotate, what buildings have what loot spawn locations. Familiarity is nice. However, I feel the game still needs more variety. For as much as I didn't like Blackout, Blackout had some great map changes occur over its life cycle. The map flooded, places changed, it was nice. What do we have in Warzone? We have a shipwreck that was added just to introduce the zombies that literally no one cares about. We had all the obelisks in Verdansk open up to reveal missile silos beneath them, and we had a hole open up in the airport runway. Not much has really changed. You can go a whole match without seeing anything different from what was in the map in Season 1, aside from the open stadium because most of my circles seem to put me in that area as of late. The map needs some variance, and it needs it badly, as the game is definitely becoming stale. I can feel all of your impatience with me growing as I drone on, but fear not, as I have practical solutions to these problems instead of me just complaining about them. First off, the hackers. There's always the argument that people who hack just have a bunch of other accounts that they can switch to so that they can keep cheating. The goal with this fix is all about outlasting their will to cheat. I say simply delete every account found hacking and ban their IP addresses. It seems like such a simple fix, yet Crackdivision doesn't seem interested. If this is set up as a bot and is usually done automatically, there won't even be any fatigue on employees for having to find and ban hackers. If the response is immediate and severe, eventually hackers will find they're spending more time making new accounts and changing their IP addresses than they are actually cheating and ruining the game for others. If they can't troll, they won't put in the effort anymore. It's just about who will outlast the other, and if it comes down to a hacker in his mom's basement and a sweaty wife beater eating Hot Pockets right out the microwave sitting on a shit bucket, versus a bot that I'm sure even my buddy Freaky Haircut could program, I guarantee you that the bot will win. I'm going to skip over the time to kill issue for a moment, as that'll take the most time. Instead, in order to add more map variety, I have a few suggestions. The frozen north of the game could thaw out a bit and melt the water behind the dam. Instead of flooding the map like Blackout did, we could simply have flowing water in the canals of Verdansk. Not enough to outright kill a player like the water in the south does, but rather have it slow down anyone running or walking through it. This will make those areas more of a gamble, and might even make vehicles more of a sought-after commodity during matches. Another fun change could be some dynamic weather events. We saw before the introduction of the zombie ship that a storm was brewing in the southern skies of the map. Crackdivision is perfectly capable of generating weather, and it would be a cool way to mask sound with thunderstorms or limit visibility with fog. These weather events would also make thermal and NVG sites usable again after the heavy thermal nerf a while back. Give us a reason to consider these options instead of just having every weapon build be exactly the same. And lastly on this topic, while it isn't specifically a map design but rather a gameplay design, how about the introduction of a helmet pickup? A helmet could share space with the gas mask, meaning you have to pick between one or the other, and the benefit of the helmet is that you can equip one more armor plate than usual. This wouldn't mess up the sniper's effectiveness at all, since headshots are one-shot kill weapons in Warzone anyway, and do over 300 damage, so it would still be an instant down anyway. I'd like to know what you guys think of this item idea down in the comment section below. And now we get to that fast time to kill issue. Almost all the Cold War guns deal high damage at a very fast rate of fire with minimal recoil. Now why is this particularly bad in a Battle Royale game? Because everyone essentially has one life, and it subverts the more tactical elements of the game mode. By turning every fight into a spray fest, with the winner being determined by who saw who first, every fight is over in a matter of seconds. In order to counter this, I feel all the Cold War guns need a hefty nerf. First off, if they could just remove them from the game altogether, that would be ideal, but seeing as that won't happen, let's address each weapon. The FFAR. This weapon could use some recoil. The loadout FFARs I've run across are absolute laser beams, and given that they have AR levels of damage with SMG fire rates and handling stats, they're just a tad overpowered. Even with the most recent nerf to the FFAR, nothing has honestly happened to it. 100 or so millisecond longer ADS time isn't going to change this weapon at all. On top of the increased recoil, I also feel decreasing the reload speed on all the Cold War guns would be a good way to keep them from being so spammy. The MAC-10, for all that I hate it for, is basically outshined by the FFAR, so honestly, just the reload speed decrease would be enough for me. Now, the burst weapons are the ones I really hate. At full health and full armor, I don't think you should ever be getting down by a single burst, but that seems to be what happens to me as of late. The AUG got a nerf in this most recent patch, but from what I've seen of the new recoil, it just makes it all that much easier for the recoil to climb right into your head for 1 or 2 headshots. It is marginally increased, but again, the nerfs they throw on these Cold War guns are nothing compared to the basic destruction of some of our Modern Warfare weapons. Crackdivision isn't going to do anything about this unless there's a big enough stink about it, so I'm hoping this video will reach enough people to start some kind of movement, but who knows. And for this last section, I'm just going to put some thoughts out there in the universe that will hopefully get sent into Crackdivision's collective brains to make the game better. First off, allow a separate playlist option for old school Warzone. Have it be as it was in the first 2 seasons in terms of ground loot and loadout options. They could call it a blast from the past, and have it fill one of the Rebirth Island playlist slots. We honestly don't need 2 playlists for Rebirth. With that, they should just do what they do with regular Warzone and allow us to choose from solos, duos, trios, and quads. Another small gameplay fix that would fix one specific issue is allow us to hip fire our weapons when we're using one of the many grapple points around Verdansk. My buddy Freaky got killed taking grapple to the top of the dam because two losers were sitting up there just waiting for them. If we were able to hip fire our weapon as we rode, we'd at least be able to respond to these threats instead of just being sitting ducks for a couple seconds so we land at the top. You can even see when people ride the lines, they only hold on with one hand. You should be able to hip fire whatever gun you have just like you can hip fire while using a stim shot. I know I've mentioned this in previous videos, but they can also add a large team mode back to Warzone, such as what Fortnite did, the 50v50, or multiple teams of 15 even. Even Blackout had a large-scale battle royale, and I think a lot of people found it to be really fun. Removing all the Cold War weapons would be nice, but that is definitely just wishful thinking. Weakening vehicles would be nice. I remember the other day I hit an empty chopper with an RPG just so no one could use it. And while it did disable the chopper, that isn't exactly the point of hitting it with a rocket. If there's a full team inside the chopper and I hit it with an RPG, it should just explode. Putting it into critical condition will still allow the passengers to bail and avoid a cool multi-kill. And lastly, for this quick section, I'd really like to see a Season 7 of Old School Warzone. And I'm not the only one who loves this. I see tons of comments on other videos saying people really want to see a Season 7 instead of these awful seasons of Cold War Warzone. You guys really dropped the ball with this hostile takeover. Integration of Warzone, and you can't seem to find where the ball rolled, so why not just cut your losses at this point and actually listen to the fans? What do you have to lose? Oh, right, your terrible public image. I guess you really want to hold on to that, huh? I know I tried to stay objective with this list, staying calm and everything regarding changes I and the community at large might like to see made into Warzone, but the last section of wishful thinking kinda came off the cuff. Just to quickly recap in case any of you missed some of my vital points, Warzone needs to deal with its large cheater and hacker problem, the Cold War guns need to be nerfed so that Modern Warfare weapons are still a viable option, and the map needs a decent amount of change or variety to keep it interesting. Otherwise, this game is going to continue to wither. Now, I'm not saying that Warzone is losing a lot of players, but as soon as another BR title comes out and all those streamers leave to play that, you'll still need to support the game for those of us regular peoples who still want to play it. At that point, if you don't have anything that the everyman can enjoy, then what would be the point of them playing? While I personally dislike Crack Division, I still enjoy this product of theirs, and I don't want to see it die unnecessarily. If they take any of these ideas into the game, I'll be happy. Although, if I'm the only one to suggest them, I'd really hope I'd get some recognition for that, but perhaps that should have just gone in the wishful thinking section. And with that, I thank you all for making it to the end of my little constructive monologue / rant. I appreciate all your time, and I hope your Easter's going well if you celebrate it like my family and I do. I wish you all the best, because you're all the best. I've been your host, Doodleman149, and I will see you later.